afternoon, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to our new startup time for MPL Insiders, starting at noon now. And you may notice we're not usually in our smushed together locale around Emily's computer. Emily, would you care to tell us exactly
Oh,
why that is?
well, it's been a brutal year with illnesses, and I just don't want to cough in Tim's face.
And
Just
I appreciate,
straightforward.
I
Yeah,
do, and since it sounds like at least one lung is coming up every time you cough, I think it's best
yeah.
that I not get lung in my face this early in the show.
Well, I thought I would try and do something nice for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, as you can tell, Emily has really, really taken precautions to the next level and is broadcasting from the moon today.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, have just sublet Jordan Cabot and his wife Kate's house just for something a little nice, just zazzing it up a little bit, toning it up a bit.
It looks great.
Well, thank you. The moon looks great with
Comfy.
you there.
It's a little cold.
Have you run into the Japanese rover?
Not
Any
yet.
chance? Okay.
Not
Well,
yet.
soon.
It's pretty quiet up here.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
Lonely.
the food like? Lonely? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're lonely. That's horrible.
I'm only here just for the episode, and then I'm coming back home.
Oh, okay. It's nice the shuttle service is that
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
Cool. So, how were your holidays?
Uh, unfortunately, it seemed like they were very illness filled. The whole family, including like relatives, it was just like we were all fighting off something. I guess cons of having a child in daycare is they're just little germ factories.
They are. They are germ factory. I mean, and when I did touring children's theater, I know I've told you this a bunch of times, but I was sick for 3 years straight.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing just how sick you can get being around kids. And I'm not saying sick of the kids. That's a
Yeah.
whole different episode.
Well.
Holidays for us were really mellow. Devin couldn't come home because of her job out in New York, and so it was. I would say the I wish I should have brought a picture in, and I didn't. But on Christmas I made tachos, which are
Ooh,
tater tot
you've told me
nachos.
about those. They sound good.
They take years off your life. You can only have them once a year. Mar makes this breakfast casserole with tater tots on Thanksgiving, and then I up the cholesterol ante on Christmas. So essentially, Mar and I are trying to kill each other.
Well,
You can't
that's
live
okay.
forever.
You'll have that.
You might have seen as many tater tots as possible.
But otherwise, overall, good holiday.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, just really low key, and our tree looked nice and funny. You know that I'm not nearly the animal person that my wife is. With her being a veterinarian, that's not that strange. But we have so many animal ornaments, and I pick out a lot of them too. But like, we have several hedgehogs and several octopuses on our Christmas octopi, excuse me, on our Christmas tree. It's just wild, that we have all this stuff. And we had a face-off this year between crocodile and a wiener dog, and that was probably my favorite part of the tree.
And who won?
They're still battling it out because
you still have the tree up? That's okay.
We're the world's worst holiday celebrators. I mean, it either lasts forever or we just skip it entirely.
Yeah, we took down our tree the weekend after Christmas. So even before it hit New Year, I was already like, I'm done with this. I'm sick of the animals running into it. I'm sick of our kid yanking off the ornaments and.
See, fat old Trilby just, lazed around the tree. Occasionally,
just kind of falls under it.
Yeah. Occasionally, she would just like slide under somehow, and then look around panicked because she wasn't sure how to get out anymore.
For sure.
But but it was nice. How come you didn't even wait for our anniversary? Mars and my anniversary is the 12th day of Christmas.
Oh.
So think about that next year before you take your tree down. You might want to keep it up till January 6th. I'm just saying.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So before we get going into the meat of the show, just want to remind anyone who's following along at home or at work, I don't know. This is usually a safer workplace show. If you have any questions for either us or our guests that are going to be on, just type them into the comment section, and we will include them in the show. So, right now, I would like to bring our first special guest onto the show, direct from her appearance, her hit appearance on Coolest
Coolest
Coast Coffee
Coast.
on the Coast. Want to bring in Materials Management
Lisa.
Library, Lisa Pike.
Hi,
Hello,
guys.
Lisa.
Hi. Thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, on short notice too. And by the way, you did a great job on. I haven't really seen you.
Thank
great
you.
job on Coffee on the Coast. So,
It's been a while.
so you're going to be talking about. Actually, before I even say another word, I just wanted to play this very quickly. And that's what Lisa's here actually to talk about, is something you may not have heard about that relatively new to the library.
Yeah.
But from what Lisa said is going gangbusters, and it is this device here. It is called Playaway, which is audiobooks for kids. So, Lisa, yeah, hold it. Isn't that great?
They're much smaller than I thought.
I love that.
Yep,
you
they're
said
about the size of a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So, Lisa, why don't you, instead of just me babbling on and on, why don't you actually talk about it?
Excuse me.
Sure. So the little device in the poster there and what I'm holding, excuse my poorness with my camera here. It's called a Playaway, and it's an audiobook device. The ones we have right now are meant for kids. We're hoping in the future, as long as these go really well, to add some for adults as well. And they're great because the audiobook and the device are all in one. So you don't have to worry about having a separate CD player or taking out CDs that are scratched and won't play. And you don't even need an internet connection to use it either, which is awesome. It comes with a preloaded title on it, and that title is on there for the duration of the device's life.
Wow.
The only thing you, as the person checking it out, need to provide is one AAA battery so it runs, and then your own headset or portable speaker if you want to do it that way. It has a universal headphone jack, so it takes any earbud headset you have.
Cool.
So
and I guess that. Oh, go ahead, Emily.
I was just going to ask. Each device only has like one title on it.
Yes, just one.
So, like, do they ever like change, or do you have to buy new devices for different titles?
Yep. Right now, we have about 60 titles in our starting collection.
Oh, wow.
And they're all different books. We have a few nonfiction titles, one on dinosaurs. I think there's a couple by Gary Paulson to do with animals. And there's a factoid book that I think I have right here. Yeah. So they come in a case that looks like this. This is what you'll see on the shelf up in the youth department. They're housed right next to the regular audiobooks on CD. And they'll be spine out, like many things that are this size and shape, and alphabetical, of course. And we have a nice variety, and they've been flying off the shelves.
That's awesome.
So,
out of the 60 titles, what would you say is the most popular thing that's that we have in the library right now?
Well, I know there's Diary of a Wimpy Kid titles in the selection, as well as I Survived. So I'm guessing those are probably going really well.
Sure.
Wow.
But I've been seeing a little bit of everything being taken out. We even have classic titles. We have Charlotte's Web, Little House on the Prairie, Sarah Plain and Tall. So it's not just brand new things either. Percy Jackson, we have the first book in that series. So nice variety.
Yeah.
Cool. Something for everyone. I mean, it's or every taste, right?
Yeah, we try.
Cool.
And a lot of the collection was based off of what have been very popular in our book collection or our regular audiobook collection.
Sure.
So, but yeah, these are available for 3-week checkout, like much of what we have available for checkout. And you can place holds on them as well. So if there's a particular title that somebody already has, you can be put on the holds list and have it come to you as soon as it's available.
That's really cool.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're the person who's responsible. You're the big mind who thought outside the... Lisa!
I got a little hiccup there.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not on the moon, are you?
No, not yet.
Yeah, soon. You were the one who researched outside the box and brought these into the library, correct?
Yep. With some input from our youth manager, Sharon Verbatim, too. She is originally from Brown County Library, and they have a nice collection of playways up there, both for adults, teens, and youth. And she just loves them and has seen really good things from them. And we have these awesome internal library grants called Silly Grants that we can apply for to try these kinds of ideas and see about how new collections will work in our community.
Sure.
And Silly Grant stands for, I have it written down because I
was going to ask if you still have the paper.
Supporting innovative library leadership initiatives. So it's basically a nice little grant that library staff that have big ideas that want to give them a shot can apply for. And this is how we've gotten our video game collection in the past and our Sad Happy Lights. That was a Silly Grant that was accepted. So I decided to apply for it for the Playways to do a trial collection and see how it goes. And big thing is just trying to bridge that digital gap that exists in the community.
Yeah.
Whether it's people that don't have access to internet readily, or who knows, may not even have a device that they can, do digital media on. Not everybody has a smartphone necessarily. So just trying to do that and get the books into kids' hands more so. We've had really good feedback so far. We've had a couple of families commentate about how they've been great for their kids that have focus issues. Because there was one in particular that the child had some attention issues and couldn't handle a regular CD player because of all the buttons and just the curiosity. And the mother was telling us that this was great because it's got a minimum of buttons on it, very basic, very small screen, so less screen time overall.
Excuse me.
And it was great because the child could listen to the book all the way through with no issue, and even follow along with the print book if they so chose. There was another family that the child had struggles with certain words, and they would listen to it and follow it along in the book.
Sure.
So just great for kids that might be struggling with their reading skills. But yeah, very basic buttons, typical things you'll find on most electronic media devices, pause, play, fast forward, rewind. There's a speed button, so if you want to listen to the narrator sound like a chipmunk, you can do that. And then the screen is real basic, like I said. Basically shows the runtime, so where you're at in the track, basically. So if you stop and pick up later, you can start up where you left off.
Sure.
But yeah, no internet necessary. Everything's already on here. You don't have to worry about, like with some services, having to return the title when you're done and having that internet connection again to get it off of the device.
Sure.
It's all in here. So
like if someone were if they stopped halfway and let's just say, it was due back, would the next person who gets it, would it pick up where the last person left off? Or do they have to rewind it, or do you have to power it off to reset it?
That actually wasn't something I had thought of.
I don't know. It's probably not a big deal. I was just curious.
I want to say
Emily just isn't someone who coughs a lot. She has good ideas.
I'm guessing where you have to take the battery out when it's returned.
Oh, sure.
I'm thinking when the battery is taken out, it probably sweeps it and resets it, would be my guess. Don't quote me on that because I've yet to experience it, but that is my guess.
Okay.
That sounds like a very reasonable guess.
Yeah.
So it's it really is a leveler of the playing field, right? On a lot of levels, with, just people with different learning levels, people who just want to enjoy it, people who have internet, people who don't have internet, everyone just to enjoy a great audiobook. I love it. I mean, so will we be getting adult titles by the end of the week? I want a yes or no answer.
Well, we have to see how this goes.
So no. So by tomorrow, I won't be able to get one. For an adult.
There's another way.
What is that other way?
If you're an adult and you would like to try out one of these devices and actually have an adult title, a mystery, suspense, something that's not a kid's book, talk to somebody on our staff and we can interlibrary loan a Playway device with adult titles from another library. So for instance, we could get adult titles from Brown County, depending on what you're looking for.
that's really cool. I mean, I hope we eventually get some on our end too, because
Oh yeah, and that's
Mhm.
the overall goal. But like with any silly grant, you kind of have a trial period, and then you have to
yeah,
see how it went. And the way things are going, I think more than likely, hopefully, when we look at doing things for the upcoming, budget cycle and
Yeah.
everything, hopefully there'll be some money from the regular audiobook CDs going to this.
Yeah.
that's
Well,
awesome.
and one thing I think of too is like, because I think a lot of newer cars, like really new ones,
Hmm.
don't even have like CD drives anymore because
Yep,
a lot of people have like satellite radio or they stream things to their phone.
exactly.
So I feel like this is a really nice option because I do know a lot of people who love listening to audiobooks in their car. So, eventually I feel like audiobooks might be something that down the line kind of gets phased out as things are continuing to modernize. And so,
And that's kind of part of the reason for trying this out and getting a start with this as
yeah,
well, because eventually probably the CD version will be very hard to get or
Yeah.
unavailable.
yeah,
But these are also great for car use if you have an auxiliary cord and your car still has the option. You
yeah.
can plug it in and be able to listen to it through your car speaker.
Oh,
Or
sure.
if you have like a portable like GBL little speaker thing, you can plug it into that and it'll play through that too. You doesn't necessarily have to listen with headphones, which
Yeah.
is nice.
But it's even like nice for like, I'm thinking like road trips with your kids.
Yes.
Like, it's something
Everybody
small.
can
It's
have
not
their own book.
clunky. Yes, exactly. You don't have to like carry this
Yeah.
super heavy bag of books and
Or try to find one title that the entire family is going to enjoy on
Right.
how many hour trip.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
And it's
that's
good for
great. That
airplanes,
is a very
too.
good point. Yeah.
Because you don't have any Wi-Fi to worry about having to turn off or have when you shouldn't be having it on the plane, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're good for that as well.
Very
Well,
cool.
that's really cool. You don't no airplane mode. You just can listen to your book.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's
it's very
great.
nice.
I mean, kudos to you. I know you don't need any puffery from me, but I mean that's such a great thing. I love this. This
And
is
they can be
awesome.
found in the youth department, you said?
Yep, they're when you go upstairs through the main entrance of the youth department, they are right to your left where the audiobooks on CD are, just past the hanging bag audiobooks that have the books and CDs together.
Sure.
And then if you want more information or want to see one shown, actually working, we actually have one available at the desk as an example with a speaker hooked up so you can see how it
cool.
actually plays.
That's really neat.
And the youth staff has been doing an awesome job promoting these because we've had people check out multiple ones to try them out, and
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot coming back that have been
Yeah.
checked out. Like there's probably like maybe a quarter of the 60 on the shelf right now. So
Sure.
Are you getting any? Are you getting some good feedback already from people who've used them?
yep, there's been some really good, as we call them in our monthly reports, mission moments. So
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That is
So,
right
yeah,
off
it's
the
been
bat.
nice.
Congrats. That's so cool. And I know you need to get going. I know you can't stay forever. But before you go, and Emily, I'm just riffing. I don't know. I couldn't let you go without a trivia question, and I know that you're a lover of horror movies.
yes,
So,
I am.
a trivia question, and it's a softball one. I'm sure it's easy, and I'm sure you'll get it. And so
Okay.
you will get a prize if you get it right at some point. We didn't plan on this, but in the original version of The Thing from Outer Space, who played the monster that was thawed out of the ice block with a heating blanket?
I can't believe I actually know this, but I do. James Arness, who played Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke.
Ah!
Goodness.
Awesome. At some point,
Thank
you'll
you,
get a prize.
Svengoolie.
I
'Cause
love
that's
that,
where
though.
I
I love
found that
Matt
out.
Dillon played The Thing from Outer Space. That's just the best. And that he was primarily a carrot. I remember seeing the movie, and it's like the scientist is like, "This monster is essentially a huge carrot." I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
I would
that's
say
so
the
weird.
the Kurt Russell take on that is definitely superior.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that. I love the remake. Well, all right, we need to let you go, and we need to bring on our next guest also. But thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. This is wonderful.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for having
thank
me. It was a lot
you.
of fun.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, and we'll definitely have you on again. So,
Yep. See you guys.
bye.
Bye.
Well, that was really cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
those
I'm glad
sound
that
super
you could
neat.
do it at such short notice, and once again, remember the Playaway audiobooks for kids. They're just for kids right now. In Youth Services Department, 3-week loan period. You can place the titles on hold if you'd like to, and they're right upstairs, and each is a self-contained story. So it's a great thing.
Correction, Tim. They are not just for kids. They are children's titles, but an adult could check them out if they wanted to.
That is true. I mean, and things that she brought up, like Charlotte's Web, for example, is far from just a children's title. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for correcting me.
You're welcome,
Even
Timothy.
from outer space. So, our next guest is a familiar face around Manitowoc. I think you could say that. She is with the League of Women Voters. She is a local activist, a general rabble-rouser, I think one might be inclined to say. And she has been connected with the Great Decisions Lecture Series at Manitowoc Public Library since its inception, 17 years ago.
Well, and she's also known as, in our marketing department, as Darling Darlene.
Darling Darlene, that is true. That is true. That is the most often how we refer to her in the marketing office. And it has been rumored by her son that I'm her new boyfriend. So that's important to bring up. So without further ado, Darlene Wellner, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So how are you today?
I'm fine. Yeah, real good. Yeah, it's fun listening to you.
Oh, thank you. We're nothing if not stream of consciousness, nonlinear. Some might say silliness, but that's because it's a family show. There are other words for it, but
yeah, there.
Well, our tagline is always on time, never on topic.
That's true. We do start on time, though. We got that going for us. So, Darlene, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience? Also, if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask. Type it into the comment section. But, Darlene, tell us a little bit about yourself, just for people who aren't familiar with the breadth of everything that you've been involved with in Manitowoc.
Well,
You have 45 seconds. Go.
Okay. Let's see. I'm a native person to Manitowoc. Grew up on a farm north of Francis Street. Went to the University of Wisconsin. Graduated in 1962, and with a degree in social work. And I always had this idea, as a social worker, that you not only help people solve their own problems and so on, but also there's the bigger picture of doing things in the community that really advance the life of everyone. And so I've always had that, beyond the individual. And so I've, I have been a meddler and so on, and I'm kind of known for that. So, I've been active in many things, but one of the things that I'm really most proud of is having brought Great Decisions to Manitowoc County. And I've kind of stole a lot of ideas from other communities and then said, well, why not here? And Great Decisions was one. But I've, done that with drug treatment court and a number of other things, mental health court, ideas that I've seen work very successfully elsewhere and have gotten people together to, do that. So my profession was being a social worker, and I worked with human services, with children in need of protective services and foster care and whatnot for 5 years. Then had 2 children, stayed home for a while, and then I worked at family service with Homemaker Home Health Aid Services for the elderly. and that was for another 5 years. And then I eventually got with Lakeshore Cap, which is where I really made, a lot of good strides. And then I worked, it was the head of the juvenile restitution program, and developed a youth mentoring program, and a victim offender mediation program, and the CASA program, and so on. And so, I just, I'd go to a conference, and geez, I'd get all these ideas and bring them back to our director, and what do you think about this, Noel? And yeah, that could, so then in a lot of these cases, you needed to build up support from a lot of other people. And Judge Dietz, not Geraldine, but Daryl, he was really a mentor, and he was always in the forefront in helping develop these things. So anyway, that's kind of my background. But League of Women Voters has been something that I've been with from the duration, and I've been on the state level and all this kind of stuff. So in this case, I got the idea of great decisions from a friend who we traveled to the legislative committee meeting in Madison, and she told me about about League of Women Voters being involved in great decisions in Fond du Lac. And she told about how it was at the library, and it was sort of a consortium of a number of different organizations and so on. And I had heard about, in fact, great decisions in college, because this goes back to Great Decisions actually goes back to 1918. It's over 100 years old, 105 years old now. And it's basically to learn about other cultures, the United States foreign policy. It's through the Foreign Policy Association, but it's kind of the equivalent of a college course in international relations is what it is. So this really grabbed me, and I thought, geez, we can do that. So then I got my pal, and we do a lot of stuff together, Marilyn Sontag in League, and I said, we had to look into this. And so we got the information from Fond du Lac and how they're operating, and then we went to the public library, and we were pleased about the reception that we got, and there was no question that they wanted to do this. And this is 17 years ago, and we've had a wonderful relationship with the library and other organizations, and the Library Foundation, and the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and one of the great helps there in finding professors and so on to speak has been Kathy Fishbeck, and she's been, there's a half a dozen of us that have really kind of maneuvered this whole thing. And now we have returning professors, and some of them, one of them from Fond du Lac, he's been coming for the whole duration, and that's Marty Farrell, and is still going strong. He was a professor at Ripon University, or its college. So anyway, the subjects are wide ranging. They're starting on February 5th, and they go from 6 o'clock in the evening until 8, and then definitely our friend kind of kicks us out because the library is closing.
I'm that friend. That's me.
Yeah, that's this gentleman that you see here. But anyway, but honestly, we could not be doing this if it wasn't for Tim Gedzinski and the rest of the staff, because they are so good in providing the venue, but also the marketing like this, and sort of the BS that goes along with it, which you've been hearing today. Anyway, it's quite a good thing. So we have and what you're getting here when you attend these is really kind of a college course in international relations, because it's the United States relationship with parts of the rest of the world. And so climate technology is the first one on February 5th. Then February 12th is, and we've had that speaker, Pablo Terral from Beloit College for a number of times. Then is Middle East and two parts to Middle East. Then science and artificial intelligence, NATO's future, U.S.-China trade rivalry, understanding Indonesia, and the last one on March 25th is High Seas Treaty. So each of these is very, very significant. And okay, we have about, I'd say roughly about, say 60 to 120, 25 people attending this each time. And some of them are virtual, and probably Tim will tell you about that. The nice thing about it is that over the years, we've got returning people, and it's almost like just a camaraderie there, and people welcoming this, and asking questions about, well, when is it going to start now, and all this kind of stuff. What are the subjects? And there are little brochures that you can get at the library if you're interested. We would like, thank you. We would very much like getting to expand our audience age-wise, and some of us are getting a little old, and self-included. Although Tim is always trying to get me out of my work and be involved in all this. I tell him my memory isn't that good, and physically I'm not that good. He doesn't believe any of that stuff.
Well, I don't remember you telling me that.
Yes, I did. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's working with Tim, but he's just a great person to work with, and Cindy too. So anyway, that's a brief glimpse of it. What else do you want to ask me?
Well, I just want to, for those of people who aren't familiar with it, it is an amazing thing that I wasn't aware when I moved back to town was going on, but everyone tends to think that they're political in nature, and they're not. These lectures are informative in nature, and I think our lecturers that are absolutely fantastic, they don't let their personal opinions come through in the lectures. They present factual, non-biased information. And that's important, even if you don't. And then there are the discussions that happen after the lectures. And the one thing I will say, and I'm the broadcast, the lectures now are a hybrid. They're live in the room, but they're also live online. And so we have discussion going on in the room, and people, adding things from the internet. The main thing that I always emphasize to people is that you just need to be respectful and listen. You don't necessarily have to agree with every question or every statement that someone makes, but listen to what they're saying, because even if you don't agree, you'll come to a greater understanding of why the person believes that. And I think Darlene would agree with me that one of the main purposes of great decisions in general is to create a greater understanding between people, because not everyone's going to think the same. So you better learn to operate in a world where people are coming at things from every angle.
That's right. It's developing that critical thinking and looking at things, in the broad perspective, and then eventually forming your own, conclusions about things, but based on fact. And it is not a political thing, and nor is the League of Women. Well, we're non-political, well, not non-political, but we're because we do act politically and so on, but we don't have a party affiliation in any way.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's a political world.
Right, right.
I just wrote an article and Emily proofread it about great decisions, and I start with, you can't even choose what light adult beverage you want to drink anymore without it being political one way or another. You're offending someone by your choice of what light beer you pick up at a supermarket. And that's crazy. But we have to face it, and we have to learn to navigate the waters. But more importantly, I had heard through the grapevine, Darlene, thank you for all the information on great decisions. Let me put the poster up again before I move on to anything else. Great Decisions starts on Monday, February 5th. It runs every Monday through February and March from 7 to 8 p.m. On February 5th, our first lecture is Climate Technology with a returning lecturer who people really love, and he packs a lot of great information into his lecture, Pablo Terrell from Beloit College. And that is about a week and a half away, Monday, February 5th. So, Great Decisions is a great thing. But also, Darlene, I'd like to hear, I heard through the grapevine that at one point you'd been incarcerated.
No, that's not true.
Is that true? You were simply arrested?
Okay, I was arrested, but not incarcerated. And it was actually an act of civil disobedience, or I like to say that. No, seriously. This is in the 70s. And I mean, if you ever want to, I'll tell you the whole story, but I can't do it here. But, it was regarding I-43, and there was a lot of protests against that because they were taking so much land, and the most land that it really was, and affecting the agricultural in the area. And of course, I got a farm background and whatnot. So there were a number of us that were involved in that, and we were arrested, and as we were trying to stop the bulldozers and so on, and went to the jail, and we were but we all paid our bail, and we got out. But I got a mugshot down there.
I wish I had gone to public records and had gotten that for the show. Nobody tells me anything.
In fact, I tried to do my best to look nice, and the person that was the jailer said, you can't have a smile on this. And so I had to I had to take off my smile. So anyway, but that's another story. But I felt at the time that it had merit. Now I'm driving on I-43 all the time, but it was we had a good rationale, and the League of Women Voters was opposed to it on the basis of the amount of land and also the route that it was taken. So I was the only one that was that did that in the league. Marilyn was along, but she had to go home. She had to go home because her in-laws were coming for supper. She couldn't stay. Oh God, I'm getting way into this. This is please.
No, did you have anything to eat while you were in jail?
No.
Okay.
I was not placed in a cell or anything because we all could provide bail, and
Sure.
The whole thing eventually was the sheriff, who of course arrested us and put us in the bus to go to the jail, and we're handcuffed and all this. I don't know why I brought this up.
She's regretting it.
Oh God. And you know, he indicated, he said, these are all good citizens, and you know, we don't want to go further with this. So there wasn't any prosecution.
Well, you know, I mean, it's important to take a stand for things you believe in. You
Mhm.
know, and even
No, I
if
did.
it changes
I
over
did.
time, I think that's great.
I did. You know, and yeah, you know, in a sense, when you look back at it, it's kind of embarrassing, and but I did take a stand for it, and I'm proud of it. I don't know, prouder, but you know, I have mixed feelings about what I did.
Well, I sure wish we had that mugshot.
I know.
That's my only regret is that we don't have that
God.
mugshot.
Oh, geez. I never saw it.
I want to see how close you were to not smiling.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I understand you tried to appear serious, but I bet a smile still came through. I'm guessing. But you know,
and you know, the thing is that all those years I worked with juvenile restitution and all that kind of stuff, and you know, I was familiar with the whole system. It just, I don't know what to say.
well, that's okay. You know, but also, it almost as important as taking a stand about what you believe in is answering questions that you didn't know you were going to be asked.
Oh gosh.
And so, with that in mind, I bring to you the most important questions in the world. Darlene, are you ready for the most important questions in the world?
Oh gosh. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Now, this is people got to know you a little bit, and I know we could have kept talking like for hours, you know, to get all your background and everything. But we have 6 questions for you that get to know, for people to know a little bit more just about the personal Darlene. Okay.
All right.
And Emily will lead off.
Okay. Your first question is Darlene, how do we know you are not a robot?
That I'm not a robot. Gosh.
Uh-oh, it's not looking good for you.
Are you a robot?
No, I'm not.
How do we know?
I'm not a robot at all. But nobody would call me a robot because I'm not. I'm you know, so diverse and thinking and well, I suppose they think too, but
that might just be what a robot would say.
Oh.
Well, give me the next question.
Fair enough. They're not going to get easier, just so you know. The questions they're not hard, but what song would make the best theme music for your life?
What song? Gosh, I don't know.
It could be any song.
Well, I don't know. Like I used to like for He's a Jolly Good Fellow, and yeah, well, that's sort of crazy, but okay, that's it. That's what I'm.
That's an acceptable answer for
All right.
Jolly Good Fellow.
Right.
I didn't see
I like
that
it.
coming.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Your third question is if you could relive one day of your life, which one would it be?
If I could what?
Relive one day of your life, what one would it be?
Boy. Oh man. I just can't get that, hey.
Is it the day that you walked into Great Decisions and saw me there to help with Great Decisions?
No, I just can't. I'm sorry, hey, but I can't.
No,
That's
fair.
okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
These are hard questions.
Well, here's the next one. This might be easier. if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would that be?
I think ice cream. I'm very fond of ice
Ooh,
cream.
Nice.
Yeah,
Any
Good
particular
answer.
flavor?
yeah. Of course, I'd be really huge, but I do like ice cream a lot.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
I like that caramel collision.
Ooh, that's a
Ooh,
good one.
that is a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. I just love that. Yeah.
Now I will forever see you just eating ice cream while He's a Jolly Good Fellow plays in the background.
Okay. Your next question is if
Get
you
ready for this one. Get ready, Darlene.
Yep.
Oh,
If you if you suddenly became a giant, what would be your biggest inconvenience?
Oh my gosh. Where do you get these questions from?
From our
Um,
terrifying
The goal,
imagination.
the goal was to be random and weird.
Yeah, what would be my biggest inconvenience? Well, I think the inability to be in sort of have an attachment to regular people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That because you're so out of the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do like being attached to people, and I don't know. I don't really have anybody that I totally dislike.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You've made it to the last question. So here we go. If you were stranded on a desert island forever with no hope of rescue, who would you rather be stuck with? Emily or Tim?
Oh, gee. I think Tim, I'd rather be stuck with you.
And
Because
ask why.
okay,
Oh, go ahead.
because simply because you're big and strong, and there might be a lot of heavy lift.
I'm there for heavy
Very
lifting.
fair point.
Woo-hoo!
That would go.
That's
And
very
also, I think and Emily, nothing against you here, but
That's okay.
you somehow would see the humor in the whole situation. And I don't know.
You know, ever since I broke
I
my
think
wrist and
we're laughing
leg back
about something.
summer,
What?
I said, ever since I broke my leg and wrist last summer, I'm much weaker than I used to be. So Tim is probably a good choice.
Okay.
I'm very happy with that answer. Normally it's because, Tim, you're bigger, and if I had to eat another human being, there'd be more to eat if you were there. That's the answer we get more often than not. So thank you for not resorting to cannibalism, at least right away.
Yeah, but I think, I'm kind of old meat already. It might not be so juicy. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say though, like, is aged meat's a good thing, isn't it?
It's true. I'm aged 60 years, and I'm as good as a aged steak from Stocks, I think,
Yeah.
at least at this point. But
Yeah.
well, see, you made it through the questions, and that wasn't that hard.
No, it wasn't. Although I couldn't get to some of them, but
That's okay.
yeah.
They're not exactly. They're just supposed to catch you off guard, really.
Yeah,
Honestly,
they
that's
did.
all. And they did. Well, Darlene, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we've kept you longer than we thought I was going to, past the point when I said that you'd be able to.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
It was
thank
a real pleasure
you.
having you. And one more time, Great Decisions. Let me bring this up. First installment of Great Decisions is on Monday, February 5th at 6 p.m. in the Balkansky Room at Manitowoc Public Library. Or if you can't make it to the library that day, just tune into our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and you can watch it live and comment along as it goes. So, Darlene, thank you for being here.
Thank
Well,
you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
Who is going to see all this production? I mean,
Anyone.
And anyone that wants to on Facebook or YouTube.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It was I don't know what I can't say it was totally a pleasure, but it was interesting.
We'll take interesting.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Darlene.
you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you go.
Here we go. Here we are.
For once, I'm here because I'm strong.
I know.
Not because I'm beefy.
I think our ratio is starting to equal out now.
I think so.
Mm.
But
Well.
that was fun. Both guests were great today.
Oh yeah, a lot of good info.
Yeah, good info. You know, most of our topics, most of our guests don't take the topic quite as seriously as Darlene does,
Yeah.
and that's great. I mean, it's
Well-
great that she was willing to come on and just talk about it passionately. You know.
Well, I think the best part was that we had a whole set of questions to ask her. And before we even asked her first one, she just literally answered them without any of us having to intervene with our questions.
Yeah,
She
but
answered all of them.
She did follow our questions. You
Yeah,
know,
I
but it was
know.
without a problem. We just got to sit here and be eye candy.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
You know, thank goodness.
Well, you are a big, strong man.
Oh, yes, I am. And you're on
So,
the moon, so it
yeah.
all works out.
Oh, well, I got a long road or a long trip back.
Well, just sleep. Just take a nap. Do you have one of the?
That's right.
Do you have a playaway with you?
I don't.
Because that would be perfect for a trip.
I
to the
didn't
moon.
plan for this trip very well.
Well, really, people don't expect to just go to the moon on a moment's notice.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Anywho, that
Anywho.
leads us to
next installment, right?
yeah. So Thursday, February 15th, same time, 12 o'clock. We will be having.
Our primary guest that day is Betty Schweedy, who is our youth services librarian, and she's going to be talking about an early literacy program that we have coming up. But don't be terribly surprised if there are a couple of special guests as well on the show,
Yep.
Including potentially a Roman demigod, I believe, if we can make that happen.
I forgot what you were talking about for a second, and then I remembered, and I was
I'm
like,
glad
"Oh
you
yeah."
remembered. What are you talking about?
And I was like, "Okay."
Roman demigod. He's lost his mind.
Yes.
But yeah, what is the date on that again? That is the 15th.
Thursday, February 15th, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
I consider Valentine's Day to be my Thanksgiving.
God.
I just need as many of those horrible candy hearts as possible, the hard,
Oh.
chalky ones.
Yeah. The little, I don't know what you call them, like message hearts or
Message hearts. So join us after Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving.
conversation hearts.
Conversation hearts.
Yes.
There we go.
That's it.
Nice snag.
Anyways.
Good for you. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. We had a great time. Great guests. Thank you, Lisa Pike. Thank you, Darlene Wellner.
Darlene.
And I hope she gets enough people to watch this, that she tells about, so that people know that she's Darlene, if they
Yes.
didn't already know.
Well, if they didn't know, yeah.
Exactly. All right. So until next time, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you
Next month.
in February.
Yeah. All
Bye
right.
now.
Bye.